Welcome, Bruno D'Amicis, to a live photo.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Speak a little bit to the beauty of the area and what particularly draws you there.
Well, this region, Abruzzo, is quite well known in Europe because it's the last really wild place in Italy. It's a good combination because you can you can visit the Colosseum in Rome in the morning and then watch a bear in the afternoon and have an amazing dinner at night in a 500 years old village.
Amazing.
So it's quite unique as a mix, yeah.
Well, tell me this. Was there a time that you can remember when photography really sparked in you?
My father went for work on a business trip to the US and he brought back a book, which I still have.
Wow.
I show you?
Yes, please.
It's this.
Yes, I know that one well. A Brandenburg classic.
But I have this because the good thing about nature photography is that sometimes you can meet your heroes, and I have it with dedication.
Awesome. Say more about the ability in nature photography for the person, the photographer's story, and their way of seeing to come through in the image. Speak to that just a little bit more.
It's what most of people come and ask me, or ask other professionals, how do you manage to have somehow an invisible signature to your pictures? It doesn't mean that they are better or worse than others. It means that they are really yours. No, what I think is it comes from a very strong inner vision that it's surprisingly nurtured by any input you put in your head. It could be music, could be food, could be your football team favorite. I mean, all your past, all your background, all your daily experiences, somehow, if you manage to metabolize them, they flow into the way you approach photography. And I like to prepare myself in order that the picture, in a way, it just already started in my head even before that I saw the place or I saw the thing happening.
Can you think of any of those kinds of images that you had a vision for ahead of time, and then you showed up and you were exposed to the wildlife or the scenery, and then all of a sudden that alchemy really came into play? I
was working almost 10 years of my life. I mean, not of course every day, but scattered. But over a 10-year period on Apennine chamois. So it's a kind of mountain goat which is endemic, lives only here in the Apennines. One idea was to photograph them with the moonlight. The chamois were in a line and I was photographing with the lights of distant villages, very distant villages in the back. Came a haze that turned all pink, and then the wind was moving a cloud that turned completely blue. So the situation was well beyond my wildest dreams. Wow. And that picture, it says it all.
Are there any other times that come to mind when you're in the field and you specifically had this thought, man, I am really alive right now?
I looked into the forest and I saw running to me a wolf pup with the fresh cut head of a deer. This connection of the death and life was really like ecology in one picture. Wow. In that moment, I had a burst. I had a really like a blush on my cheeks, and when I walked back, I was crying, but really crying, because of this huge emotion.
Are there other places on planet Earth, whether they're local or far away, that really connect with you and your style of photography?
So one of these places where I had these emotions and where I always like to go, although it's a pretty tough place, it's the Sahara Desert. And I had this dream to photograph, one of my childhood dreams, to follow the fennec foxes, this tiny fox. Yeah. This is a side of the story. The sad side is that you have a lot of conservation issues. You need education, and this picture shows the difficult condition in which both the animal and the people live. So this kid in very challenging situation, like in terms of lifestyle, livelihood, tries to sell the fennec fox that he had caught himself in the wild illegally. And this is very widespread with many species. So that picture, some people seen that picture, oh, a cute little fox. But if you look at the shoe of the guy, if you look at the scars on his feet, if you look at the scared eye of the fox, you understand that this is not a normal situation. Yeah, it's a tough place, but I love it, and it gave me a lot back.
One image that you would place over your mantle, what would it be?
This is really difficult, because when the picture it's interesting. When the picture is too strong, you cannot look at it too much. When the picture is too perfect, you forget about it. You have to find a picture that holds both things, that you can read it in layers. So you have three silhouettes, and in the back you have these super orange yellow colors, and that's not the sunset, but it's the sea of the Adriatic Sea that reflects the sunrise. So it's actually a way of putting together mountain and sea and creating this Mediterranean feeling. And I have it in a large size, and that's a picture I don't get bored to look at.
What would be, if you could put it in a sentence or two, what would you say is your style?
A lot of research, very difficult species, very unsexy environments at first glance, and a lot of physical activity to get there. So a strong drive for the subject.
What is some piece of advice you might share with them as they get started in this wild adventure?
First of all is learn as much as you can about your subject, more than about the camera or the latest Photoshop plugin. That's something very easy to learn. But the other thing, the nature part, it takes ages. So that's always a very good investment of time. Second thing is be patient. Thank you so much. This is a cool thing. Thank you for inviting me.